Hey everyone, I hope you're having a good day. Our dynamic learning team, wanted to take a few minutes. The suggestion was to maybe do a short video recording just to go over a few things connected with our, not just with the team, but the support site that's been set up for you all. And so I decided to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to record some thoughts about that, but I needed to take our husky baby, who's down here, there she is, Sierra Lee Marie, as we call her, since we're from the South. She's got three names, on a walk. So as I walk her, I'm just going to chat with you a bit about some of the topics. And so she and I are going to head out into the neighborhood, and then I'm going to share a few things with you about some questions that have been coming up and so forth. So bear with me as we go through this. And goodness, got to latch the gate. And hope she doesn't need to poop because that's going to be quite a project to pick that up and hold this phone and to do all of this together. So here we go. So the dynamic learning team, a question has come up about what is dynamic learning and what is it that we should be doing with this information. Sorry, she's got me all turned around with her leash. So dynamic learning, we use that as an intentional term, recognizing now that we have we're in these times where we may have to use websites and video conferencing and Zoom and different platforms to teach, to reach out to people and so forth. And so knowing that that was going on, we decided that, the best way in our minds that we recognized to do that was that we would have to be very dynamic and very nimble and so forth, and how we took those approaches. So dynamic is just that. You're having to use all these different approaches and resources and so forth to carry out our teaching and so forth. So that's the dynamic part. So the site was built, the dynamic learning team did an assessment, as you all may recall, to really sort out what your needs were, our needs. And based on that, we decided to build a supportive website that dynamic learning has been putting out, sharing the link regularly and so forth. And so we wanted to make sure that we provided some of the resources that all of us may need during these social distancing times that we're in and during teleworking times. So that's the concentration, and we wanted to make sure, based on what you told us in the assessment, that we provided that to you. So as we have built that, some other questions have come up. One is that site meant to be internal or external? And it's completely meant to be internal. The dynamic learning site is meant to be for you. It's not necessarily for constituents. And sorry, Sierra's decided she wants to go a different route than I was going, so she's dragging me. So totally internal for us. And the things that we wanted to provide to you were kind of you'll note that there's a grid there. It's a the grid is set up in a Google Sheet. And so we wanted to provide a number of things. One is that as we recognize that we're in these distance teaching times and so forth, we're going to need softwares and apps and so forth to do that. But many of us find ourselves at home without those resources, both equipment or the knowledge to be able to carry those things out. So we decided that we would try to connect all those pieces together. And so that site is set up where it not only does it have the platform and drawing attention to that, and the app and so forth, but it also then has where you can go find that to download it. It has the instructions. And then what we wanted to connect to it was a setup where a colleague of all of us, of ours, within Extension, maybe use that software or use that app to build maybe they made a video, or maybe they built a new web page, or maybe they built an email system or something like that during the times that we're in. Not something they perhaps would have normally done, but because of the situation we're in, they recognized that they needed to do that to continue to reach constituents and so forth. So with that said, or that noted, we recognized that we wanted to put all of those pieces together kind of in a one-stop shop. And so as we've done that, we recognized the strong need to present some practical examples that would be used. And so that's why we've been asking you all to provide us with maybe some examples of innovative teaching, maybe some new things that you've done that we could link to demonstrate that platform. So on the left of that page, you'll see this is the platform or the software, the app, and so forth. There's the instructions. This is where you can download it. And then we wanted to connect a practical example of one of our colleagues that has used that to teach via distance, to teach out to constituents and so forth. So then that led to people saying, well, I don't really think I'm all that innovative, and what I've done isn't particularly different than anyone else has done. So what is it exactly that you're looking for? And so I get that. I understand that people may not feel that what they're doing is all that different from anyone else. But I'm going to get closer because this mower's going over here. But and sorry, I'm breathing hard. But anyway, it is what it is. So I had one of our colleagues contacted me and said, I don't know that what I'm doing is all that innovative, but like I had to build a new email listserv to reach all of my constituents, and that's not something I had before, and they particularly didn't have the specific skill sets to do it, and I wouldn't either. And so, the idea of sitting at their dining room table having to build this, and all the time it took and so forth. But now that they've done that, they're able to more easily, regularly communicate out to producers or constituents and so forth. And so there may be other folks in the same boat. They need to do that. Sorry, I'm going to turn around. Just got me wound up again. They need to do that, but they didn't, have the specific skill sets to do so. So there's probably other folks in that boat. And so we would show that, attach that as an example that one of our colleagues did, and maybe that'll help all of us to think more creatively and so forth as we, recognize that we need to be more nimble and so forth as we try to teach people out, across our counties and in Baltimore City. And so I've got a cheat sheet here, so that's what I'm trying to keep up. So the other thing that I'll share is that while I know that it's a challenge for some of us to, both think of or what exactly is, innovative. Just think about it as something that I use this in a new approach. I normally would have taught this in a classroom setting. Maybe everyone, they would have been invited to the county office and they were in our conference room there or something. But instead, I had to teach in this way, and maybe I used Zoom, or I had to refresh my website or something like that. And so as such, that's what we mean by innovative in this type of a setting. Last thing that I'll say is please recognize that UME Answers has a tremendous amount of resources that are available to you. If you find yourself needing to write that publication, those are up there, or maybe work on a study. All the Qualtrics support things are there, and the tutorials associated with it. Maybe you're going to, beef up your CV and work on some scholarship pieces for promotion and so forth. So there's items there. There's just a tremendous amount of resources and journal articles and so forth. There's some things that are available for those of you that have been thinking about writing journal articles, or maybe, as I mentioned, fact sheets and so forth. So recognize that all of that's available. So just a quick shout out, just to maybe hopefully provide a little more clarity to further explain. We'll actually do a workshop this Thursday where we're going to kind of work through the site, and so people can maybe develop a little more clarity about that. And then, as I started out saying, I hope that she didn't need to poop. That's exactly what just happened. So I guess I'm going to sign off and take care of that before I head on back. Anyway, be safe out there. Take care.